next up, Transformers 1, I guess. Okay, so Transformers 1, which underperformed at the box office. Talk about a mess, Joe. This movie is a mess of a movie.
Really?
Oh,
people
my God.
fake liked it.
They're wrong.
Okay.
It's ostensibly... Again, it's sort of lost in the middle of being for Comic-Con nerds or being for kids, but it is ostensibly for kids. It's made by the guy that did Toy Story 4.
Oh.
But it could not be less appealing for kids. I don't know if these people like know what kids are like or what. Like, I don't understand how like these kids movies are operating these days, because number one, this script is so bogged down by like in-universe lore and terminology. It is, I'm not exaggerating, impossible to follow. The first 5 minutes are so much like, it's such a dense information dump, part of it in a voiceover. But then even when you get into the characters and they're doing an action scene, the dialogue in the scenes is so dense, and like it's like the terminology is just like such a burden. It's so hard to make sense of what's going on. It's so impossible to follow. Combined with the fact that it's going at this like breakneck screwball pacing, and like the voice actors, you can hear them are struggling to keep up with the dialogue at the speed they're going at. And so they end up giving these performances where like you can tell they're just trying to remember how to pronounce all the terminology. There's like no intonation, there's no performance. It's just like people like trying not to fuck up the terminology so the Comic-Con nerds don't get mad at them. And then number two, the animation is a mess. The compositions, I thought from some of the marketing that they were going to go for this like sort of 80s retro thing that harkened back to the TV show.
That's what I thought.
Excited by that. Why did I think a studio would greenlight a movie like that? No,
because they just did with the Spider-Man one. The animation was so pretty and people loved it. Not that.
It's like Industrial Light and Magic did the animation, but it's like somebody at Industrial Light and Magic poured like 6 Red Bulls into their computer and then left it on overnight. The compositions are so overcrowded with like Transformers and futuristic cityscape stuff and impossibly detailed sci-fi technology. It is a mess. And for kids, what is the number one kids? Why do you think Peppa Pig is so popular?
Straightforward.
Kids want clarity and simplicity in animation. They cannot fucking look at 100 fucking things going on at once. So I don't know why they thought kids would like this movie. It's impossible to follow the dialogue, and the animation is just a nightmare mess. And finally, Joe, maybe the worst part of the whole movie, the fucking humor in this movie. If I have to sit through one more movie that for some unknown reason is bogged down to the point of inanity with, well, that just happened kind of jokes, I'm going to fucking fill that substance syringe full of acid and pump it into my ears so I don't have to hear anything else for the rest of my life. Here's a message to 95% of screenwriters working today, particularly the ones whose Wikipedia photo shows them hunched over a table at Comic-Con. You're not funny. You're not funny. You're not funny. And guess what? That's fine. We don't need you to be funny. This is like Marvel fucked up everyone's sense of like how to, like what movies are supposed to be funny and how to do humor in those movies. And I'm not saying that like a movie like Transformers or comic book movies don't need comic relief. They need comic relief. They need plenty of comic relief. But like they need like cinematic comic relief. Not this like not this like lines that are from like a Parks and Recreation like spec script, or like somebody watched like a supercut of Star-Lord's best one-liners and then did bad versions of that for 2 hours. It's like you don't have to do any of that. There are plenty of other registers you should be existing in when you're writing a script for a fucking Transformers movie. There should be like cool lines, like tough guy lines. There should be like some corny lines. Write less, tighten this shit up, and make it more cinematic. And it's fine if not all the one-liners hit. That's part of the fun of a popcorn movie, is when you sort of groan at some of the bad one-liners. But this like talky, rambly, sitcom-y imitation of comedy screenwriting is such a fucking bummer. It's not for the movies. Leave it in television. And not just because it's not funny, again, because it's not cinematic. It's small, it's boring, it's mumbly. It's got no place in popcorn movies. Stop it.
Joss Whedon disease.
Seriously. Yeah. Seriously, Joss Whedon disease. You're right. This goes back before Marvel. Thank you very much.